I got two rare supercars, one fire damaged and one crash damaged. Once we got them back in the shop, we tore them apart, we did the fiberglass repairs, we took apart the rest of the car. I went to the UK and found a unique custom body, cut the burn car up, used the front end of that car to fix the front of the M400 burn car, welded in some gussets, got some custom powder coat, and even carbon fiber floors made for the car.
Welcome back to Jack Builds It, and welcome back to the M400 build. You guys smashed it on the last video like always, and once again I'm going to ask you guys to subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up. That's what really helps me out, and that's what helps me complete these builds. Last week we did quite a bit of work to this car. We got the hinge supports installed, we got the gussets all done, we have a carbon fiber floor that was made for the car. Now we are going to work on getting the body right. So I don't have the front and rear clamshells yet. They are still in the UK, and I'm really excited to get those. The guy making those should be back next week, and he's going to be sending me pictures. I'll update those if I get them before this video goes out. I need to get that door gap to that side, but I already know that this door fits and everything is good on that door. So what I'm gonna do first is, as you can see here, I've got the hinges, which now are extremely strong. You can literally stand on those. It's not gonna go anywhere. So I am gonna bolt this door up, get this thing exactly where it needs to be so that I have something that I can mirror on the other side. And once I have that door fitting, we are going to bodywork the door, bodywork the pillar, we're going to bodywork the roof, and this thing should be finished and in primer by the end of this video. Like I always say, guys, let's get started because it's gonna be a very dusty week. I am gonna be very dirty. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I love this stuff. All right, I am off camera and I'm grabbing the door. Okay, let's get this thing in place. Try not to damage the door too much. Don't need to do more work. Or we do, I don't know. I enjoy this, not gonna lie. Okay. That's not gonna work. Oh. There we go, something clicked into place. There we go. All right. Now that that is in place, I need to gap this thing along the bottom. That will make sure that everything is in the spot where it needs to be. Make sure all my gaps here line up, and we're good.
This was a very long and tedious process. This took me about 6 hours to get this door opening and closing consistently and sealing up very nice. This was not easy.
Okay, so I just battled this thing literally all day. This was really hard to line up, but I think I've got it really close. There's one thing you need to do always when you're lining up a door, and that is put all the weight in the door. The only thing I don't have is the fiberglass door panel. It's really light. I don't think that's gonna make much of a difference, but everything else is in the door right now. I am going to relocate the speakers from the door, and I'm gonna use a different door card. I'm gonna make something that's my own that looks better. The other one looks very dated. It looks like something that it was built in the early 2000s. But now I think I've figured this out. I think I have the door lining up just right. This has literally been an all-day thing, guys. I'm not kidding you when I say I've spent probably 8 hours just focusing on this side of the car. But now I've got the door to where it has a little bit of pop. And what I mean about pop is it pops the door open just a little bit. So if you see here, it just gives it a little bit of a jump. It's a tiny little bit. So I need to put the door seal on. When I put the door seal on, I think that's gonna get worse. But what I've noticed now is the gap here on the bottom is okay. The gap here and here is really good. This doesn't really matter. It's pretty much gonna be okay no matter where it's at, as long as the door can open and it doesn't come into contact with the fender. Everything else looks pretty good right now. I'm gonna put this seal on, and then we're gonna see what the door looks like then. And what's cool about this is it's basically just a generic seal. You can see here where they've cut it, and they have literally super glued this together so that it's one piece. I'm probably gonna replace these. Yeah, anyway, let's put this seal on. Gonna get this guy where the sharp bend is here. Okay, this bend here. This is a crucial step, guys. If you don't fit this seal at least once during this process, you are going to never know what it looks like. And then when you go to put this all together, you're gonna think you have it in the right place, and it's not gonna be in the right place. Then you're gonna have to do all that adjusting again. And what happens when you do that is you're gonna get scratches, chips, damage to your panel that you don't wanna do, that you just got fresh paint on, which that's gonna be a challenge with this car, because even after getting this lined up and knowing everything is in place where it should be, it's going to be a challenge, because there is no way to secure those on there and just leave them on there. It has two studs that go into the structure that I've built on the car, as well as to the fiberglass, and then it has a bolt in the front. So to pull that off, I would have to stretch this piece here in the center, stretch the center out, and that would just cause probably cracking or some kind of damage to the fiberglass. I'm not sure. I might try something tomorrow, but we'll see. Right now, I'm just gonna check to make sure this all lines up. Oh yeah, that shuts good. Sweet. Take a look at how it looks. As you can see, the gap looks nice and even. It sticks out a little bit on that front part right here, but as far as I'm concerned, that looks really good, guys. Take a look. Here's the wide view of it, and you can see here what I'm talking about with the fender. It just kind of tucks in there like that, and it gets a little tighter at the top, kind of getting close to this area here. That's good to go. Let me give you a better view of what it looks like when I say the door is popping. I said that already before, but I want to show you guys from this view what is actually happening. So the door is sealed nice and tight, and it is the only way that this is gonna go on. There is no other way. If I do anything else to this car, I'm modifying the actual body to make this thing fit. I have spent 6 to 8 hours just lining this door up. And when I say I have a problem, I have a problem. When I think I can get it better, I will literally sit there and pick at every little part and try to make it go just a tiny bit better. And sometimes that's very satisfying, and sometimes it's just frustrating, like today. But let me show you guys what I was talking about. So I'll just lightly pull on the handle here, and you can see the door pops open. That's just gonna be one of the quirks and features of this car. It's gonna pop, but that's okay, because that means it's got a good seal. It's not putting any stress on anything. The only thing that I see stress on is the fact that it's nice and tight against this seal. It's a little tighter at the front than I want, but it's good. If I look inside the car, it's not putting any pressure on the fiberglass to where it's actually pushing it in. There's no movement. It's just the seal. It's nice and tight. If we close it right there, it closes just fine. So like, I mean, you know, you imagine you're getting out of your car, you know, you get out the car and you're like, yeah, man. Yeah, what's up? It's my Noble. Yeah, that's right. Anyway, let's check the door glass to make sure the door glass seals good up against this seal here. I got my handy window crank here. Yep, that's right. These are window crank windows. There is no power windows. And I'm not going to put power windows in this. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but it's a race car. Hey, look at that. Nice and tight. Yeah, that is good. That seals very, very nice. I am very happy with that. Let's check that door one more time, see if it makes it pop a little more. No, it's actually pretty good. Shuts about the same. Sweet. All right, now we spent enough time on this side. Let's get to the other side, because that is a headache that is going to be way worse than this side. I've already done some measuring on the other door, and that door is like literally completely different than this door here. The length is longer on certain parts. The height is different on certain parts. There's going to be some adding and subtracting of materials on that door. That is going to be the challenge. That side right there is going to be the headache. If I had to guess, I'm going to spend 2 days on that. And I don't have 2 days to spend on that. I need to get this car finished by the end of the week and in primer. If you guys haven't noticed, we set very unrealistic goals. Why do we do that? Now the really challenging side starts. The other side was hard. It took me pretty much a day to get everything lined up, fitting right, and clamped into place. This side is going to be the hardest side to work on. Everything on this side will have to be custom fit to the car. I've already done the interior work here on the door, so this piece here is now going to hold all of the accessories that go on the inside of the door, like the window regulator and the lock solenoids and all that stuff. So that should be good, minus that back latch area. The latch is a little too far in still, so I need to keep modifying that and making that fit a lot better. But if we come over to the car, you can see there are many points of repair on this car, and that is going to alter the way that door fits even more. Not only that, that door is from a race car, so nothing is the same as it is on the other side, and it doesn't line up too good. So I'm gonna have to add some parts, and I'm gonna have to take away from some parts of that door. So I'm gonna have to add fiberglass and take away fiberglass. Definitely want these gaps to be symmetrical to the other side, so that's gonna be a lot of work just in itself on one area, but I don't have to do it on just one area. I have to do it here, down this area, down this side here, and also this side right here. I think when I get the window glass, it'll be fine, but I will fit the seals and do all that stuff too. Alrighty, let's get started. I have a long day ahead of me, so we're gonna be here late.
Now it's time to start the process of aligning the other door. As much as I thought the other one was hard, this was 10 times harder. Nothing wanted to fit. This is why building a hand-built car from scratch is extremely difficult, because nothing will go together as it should.
When working on projects like the M400, they can be very dirty and dusty, and it's good to get into habits that are good habits, like protecting your health with a respirator and safety glasses. But thanks to today's sponsor, Fume, you too can kick the bad habits and get started with some good ones. Have you heard that flavored air is a category that is quickly becoming a leading alternative to vaping and smoking? It's a whole new movement towards better habits, led by today's sponsor, Fume. Fume is an award-winning flavored air device. Fume draws flavor into your mouth. Fume fills the void that ditching bad habits can leave behind. You still have something to reach for. Fume is not a vape. No vapor equals you can use it anywhere. There's no nicotine, so it's not addictive. There's non-toxic flavors, so it's a guilt-free alternative. Not only does Fume look awesome, it has a high quality to it that you can feel. It's made with magnets, and it's made to fidget with, so this can help calm your anxiety. You can trust the safety of Fume because they continually invest in third-party studies to ensure the safety of their products. Fume is backed by doctors in the US. Fume also has a ton of flavors. I've always been particular to mint, but if mint is not your thing, they have a bunch more that you can choose from. Fume has served over 150,000 customers, and you can be Fume's next success story by starting good habits today. For a limited time, use my code JBI and get 10% off your purchase of a journey pack. Head over to fume.com, that's tryfum.com, and use code JBI or scan the QR code on the screen and head over to Fume and get 10% off of your order today. Thanks so much to Fume for sponsoring this video. Now, let's get back to the Noble build. We have a ton of work to do. This is the last step I need to get everything fit on this door before I can do body work and finish this entire center section. The other door is aligned, everything looks good, but over here, I am having a massive problem. My hinges are adjusted all the way forward on the pillar. The reason I have to adjust that all the way forward is because of the gap right here. As you can see, it's kind of tight. If I pick up on the door, it looks okay on camera, but let me tell you something, it's not. The reason is because no matter what, that has to move backwards. So to move that backwards, I'm gonna have to shave down the edge of this door right here. The other problem that I'm running into is right here. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to catch it on camera because it's kind of tight, but if you can see right there, look how far the door is from the latch. It's not even close. And when I put the latch on, it won't latch. It's hitting this part right here. So it's supposed to hit right about here in the center. It's hitting right here where the claw goes and grabs over and holds on. Let me show you what it looks like on the other side. So something I've noticed here is this door is a lot smoother and flatter out this way. If you watch here, the door, when it contacts that striker, is way closer. You can see right there. So now I've come to the point where I need to make a solution for this right here. And if I move this door back, the issue that I'm gonna have is that door is going to hit here. It's gonna be a lot tighter. But the problem with that is also this piece here is going to open up. There is a happy medium that has to be met here. I'm gonna have to cut the inside of this door on this edge and bring this outward. And then once I bring that outward, I'll have to get this thing latching and shutting. I will still have to move the door back a tiny little bit, but that will give me enough here where I can correct that gap there and make it line up here. This has been the hardest part of the build. And like I said before, these are handmade cars. So everything on this car is fit specifically for this car, basically reconstructing this door to fit to this car. I better get started because there's a lot of work and I need to have this done by Friday. It's Thursday morning.
The decision to cut the area where the latch is and move that back was one of the most important decisions. This was a very difficult thing. I spent a lot of time staring at this door, trying to figure out the least invasive way to make this thing shut and open correctly. With this piece moved back, I was able to use aluminum tape to hold it in place so I could prepare it for putting fiberglass on the inside of the door. I start off by applying a wet layer of resin across all of the area where I'm going to patch it with fiberglass to extend it to where it needs to be. While the resin is still tacky, I fill in any voids that were left over that I couldn't get to while doing the inside. With the door outside curing in the sun, I move on to my next problem, the hinge.
So this was an unforeseen problem, but now I think I have the solution that will help make this very adjustable. So we already have this hole cut right here that was in there from the start. These two here are the ones that they drilled out from the factory and then welded on bolts. On the other hinge on the other side, they're actually a little bit further back. So when I put this pillar on, I couldn't find the hinge from the purple car except the top. I found the top hinge. But the bottom hinge I had off the race car, like I've said, this is a little bit different as you can see here. These are much wider, they're further out, causing it to only move back and forth maybe 1/4 of an inch. I need a lot more movement than that in this. I didn't like where the placement was on this one specifically because these bolts were really close to the side. When I backed the hinge up, it's pretty much bottomed out and I didn't want to have any issues where I couldn't align it. So I figured, you know what? This originally had a hole here and a hole here. But as you can see now, I've made a plate and I've put these bolts on the back. What I'm gonna do so that this thing goes exactly in the same place every single time, and I can bond this half of the hinge right here to the body and then bond this half of the hinge to the door so that they stay in the exact same place once they're aligned. All I have to do is pull this pin right here in the middle
and then slide them in place in theory, and these will go right back into place, and I won't have to mess around with aligning the door. The only thing I will have to adjust after the car is painted is the striker where the latch actually catches. I will weld this plate to those bars back there, so now it's exactly where it's gonna be. It will not move, and I won't have any issues with alignment after paint. Once again, without H&S Auto Shot, none of this part of the build would be possible. Thanks again to H&S for sponsoring this, and in the next video, you're gonna see another tool that they've given us that is really, really nice.
That was an insane amount of work to get this thing to fit right. I just had to redesign pretty much my whole idea on how I was gonna fit this door to the car and be able to take it on and put it off in the exact same place. What I'm talking about is how badly the door was closing. It wouldn't even close because it was overlapping on this side here. What I found out was that the back side of the door was actually off by almost 1/4 of an inch from the other side. After I cut that, corrected that like you guys just saw, shut the door, everything latched, but then the problem I had after that was the fact that this hinge here had 3 bolts in it that were welded to it, so I had to slide that in first, right? When I did that, I noticed something. I'm not gonna be able to take this off and put this back on in the exact same place. And what that's gonna cause is when I go to line this up, this thing is gonna be dragging around, moving, doing all kinds of things that I don't want it to do, causing me to scratch this door. I don't wanna scratch the door, I don't wanna scratch anything on the car, I want this thing to go back together perfectly. So to do that, I came up with the idea to make plates that go behind here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Now you can see the plates right here. I've welded these nuts onto it, did the exact same thing up there, and now this should hold the weight of the door, no issue, that's not a problem. The problem is getting these things back on without scratching the door. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to scar up the back side of this hinge right here so that it's got a nice grit in it, probably like hit it with like a grinder or something like that. Then I'm gonna use panel bond and I'm gonna panel bond this to this pillar. Then what I'm gonna do is take this pin right here out, which has a C-clip, pull the pin on both of these, same thing here, pull the pin out. Once those are pulled, the hinge on this side will stay with the door and it'll stay with this door. I need to clean these hinges up and get them in primer, but I first need to mark this side of the hinge. As you can see right there, let me get it to focus. I have taken a pencil and marked everywhere around the hinge so that I know it goes back in the exact location where I took it out at. Now the hard part is getting this thing off, getting everything taken care of that way, and then fitting the door back up so that I know it's in the exact same place. This is the thing that happens when you're building cars, especially cars like this that are custom cars that are hand-built cars. You need to take them apart multiple times to make sure everything is going into place. You have to put all the door seals, weather stripping like I have sitting there on the roof. That has to be on the car. The door has to be weighted. You have to make sure that these doors are going to open and close perfectly. If not, when you put the car together, when it's painted, you're going to be doing adjusting, and then when you're adjusting after the car has been painted, you're already in trouble because you're going to scratch something, and then you're going to be angry at yourself for all of that hard work, all of those hours and everything that you put into it. Now I need to get this door apart. I'm going to do like I just told you guys. I'm going to take those pins out. We're going to get this thing set into place where it needs to be, and then we are going to do a lot more work. Let's keep moving. I need to get this thing in bodywork by tomorrow. That's the goal. Tomorrow. I think I'm crazy. I'm pretty sure I'm crazy. You guys know I'm crazy because this is the kind of stuff right here that I like to build. Yep, crazy.
With no time to waste, I separate the door pin hinges so that these hinges can come apart in the middle and they can stay exactly where they need to be on both sides, one on the door and one on the pillar. With the hinge brackets welded into place, now it was time to fix all of the fiberglass on this pillar. If you remember from before, we had to notch it and section out the inside pieces so that the door would actually close. This hinge was completely different from the other one, so that caused a little bit of interference when the door was shutting. The goal with this Noble is once it's finished to make it so that you have no idea that it's been in an accident. But thanks to Car Vertical, when you want to check out your next project car, you can find out exactly what has happened along the way with that car. Like this Toyota Supra here, when I click the odometer tab, it shows that there's been no mileage fraud. If I go up to the top, click theft, I can see that there has been no record of this car being stolen. Now when I click the finance and legal status tab, it shows that there's no outstanding finance on this car. When I click the title check tab, it shows me that there's been a salvage title on this car. Once I go back and I click the photos, I can see the pictures from the car crash auction website showing me that this car has been in a major front end accident with airbags deployed. Because you guys have been using my link so much, Car Vertical has decided to give me an extra 10% off. So now when you use my code JBI at checkout, you can save 20% off your next Car Vertical check. Thanks to Car Vertical for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the build. Now I use a fiberglass reinforced filler so that I'm able to support and also build on everything that I have repaired in the fiberglass area here. Now I apply body filler to smooth out all my transitions, and we are one step closer to having this thing finally finished. We got away from the shop for a quick minute so that we were able to go and check out these really cool cars over at Circuit Florida. This was an amazing experience. Not only did we get to see these cool cars go around the track, we got to meet some really cool people, and one special person in particular, as you'll see later in the video. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ben Collins.
So this is something that I never thought that I would ever be doing in my lifetime, but I'm here with Ben Collins, who you guys know as the Stig. So this is pretty epic. This is my EVO 8. He has driven many of these cars and enjoyed them, and I just wanted to get his experience and kind of find out what you think about my build. This is
pimped build.
This is, yeah, I mean, we got full leather, there's no more plastic in this thing.
So far so good, but there's no aircon.
There's no aircon, so we need to get some...
Mine are great, but I mean, I'm feeling it. Here we go.
We'll just give it a little bit of a launch control.
Bloody hell.
A little too much.
I'm kind of glad you missed that gear, because I wasn't really expecting that. So, that was just on the clutch. You haven't got a launch control mode, have you?
So it has factory two-step. So you can get on it, step it out to, I think it's 6,200,
right?
Something like that. And
it's got a rev hold for it.
Yes.
Okay. So that's pretty. Hang on. So this has got more power than normal. What is this? 700 horsepower or something?
So we are right at 550 to the wheels.
Right.
And about 458 torque.
Okay.
So I'll let it sit to about 2,500 and then floor it.
All right. When you say to the wheels, that's you've got a dyno on this thing.
Yeah.
Wow. Bloody hell. I love the sound of the pop-off valve. of a BHP. This is 700, isn't it?
It probably makes close to that. It's a fantastic car. It does everything I want it to do.
Yeah.
Minus a few minor things here and there. That
It does what you want it to do, which is scare the crap out of the passenger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I like that. I wasn't scared, but I was surprised.
So
It's pretty aggressive.
I'd love to get your opinion on the car and what you think about it.
Let me have a go.
Yeah.
It's brave, very brave. You watched Top Gear a lot, so you remember when we had the white Evo 7
Yes.
versus the tanks and all that,
Yes.
the army shot at it with the robot driving it.
Yes.
So before that, I was driving it a bit. It was tuned up to about 800 brake. It had all the ECU stuff up on the dash, but they hadn't done this at all. And all of these were absolutely pissing fuel everywhere. It was a fire hazard.
So we have all new fuel lines on this car. We have, I mean, everything has been redone.
It's amazing.
So let's get your, let's let you drive it and see how you like it. Is this really happening?
Great. Does it have traction control?
It does not.
Okay. Who's in that shed just down there?
That's us. So that's our second building.
That's you two. Okay. You need to. You seriously need to get a hydraulic handbrake on that.
I do.
I hope you don't mind me trying, but that's tired. If only the handbrake works, we've had a nice little drift there. All right. So can you adjust the pickup at the lower? Bloody hell! In the lower revs. Or
So,
not? You put it all in the mid-range.
I put it more towards like 3,000. So like at 3,000, you're starting to get full boost.
Yeah.
By $4,000, you're full send.
Okay. Really like the steering's lovely and light.
Yes.
These things are great. They're like floating on velvet.
Yes.
These and the Subarus, they're fantastic.
It's not lowered any. It's like an inch in the back, but it's
Stiffen it up.
Yeah, it's stiffened up a little bit.
Yeah. What shocks have you got on this?
We did BC coilovers on this. I really wanted to put Fortunatos, but it was kind of in a rush kind of thing, and it was like they had those available. So
Okay. You've done so. You changed the clutch. You've got a
yes,
composition clutch.
yes, twin disc.
It feels so wound up tight at the top.
Once
When
it
that
gets,
thing
it's
pops off.
Yeah.
It's really neat. It's pretty cool. You like you say, they're used to using the higher revs.
So it does not like to ride at lower revs at all. So I put a 274 cam in it, so it chops at low RPM. So you
Right.
hear that chop, 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 chop.
Yeah.
So a little 4-cylinder doing that. It's kind of funny. And it revs out to about $7,000.
Yeah. So you're still four-wheel drive.
Yes.
How much? I'm trying to remember what percentage-wise goes to the rear wheels of these things.
I'm not really quite sure. I know that it makes some pretty good power though, like to the rear.
This thing is decent.
Awesome.
I love it. It's really good, and it isn't too stiff. I think for this environment too. Like,
Yeah.
you guys have decent roads, and it's pretty well. I mean, Florida's well maintained, isn't it?
It makes for fun times.
It's really cool.
If you notice in the back, I got the kid seats back there.
I
So
saw that.
the
Yeah,
kids
you
love
took
driving
the
the
whole
car.
family out and terrified them.
Yes.
I love it. I would love a bit more bottom end torque.
Yes.
Just
So-
because there are those moments when you just want to try and keep momentum going. Is that feasible?
So if you leave, you got to leave kind of heavy, but if you leave kind of heavy, it'll stay in, boost somewhat,
Yeah.
but it doesn't like being very low RPMs. It doesn't get happy at all with that.
Because I'd end up clutch popping and stuff.
Yes.
Presumably this clutch would take that. So if we were on a track somewhere,
Yeah.
we could go full send and then pop the clutch a few times, keep the tail, get the revs up.
Yeah.
Great traction.
So on the cars that they sent to the US, they actually stacked the diff wrong
Yeah.
on purpose so that US people wouldn't slide out too much.
No way.
Yeah. So in Japan, it's stacked differently, so you can actually have better slides.
Okay.
Kind of crazy. I learned that not that long ago.
You taking it on track?
Yesterday was the first time on track with it. So my plans for this car is I thought I was going to do a regular 2-liter and keep it 2-liter, but like you said, like there's no low end torque.
Yeah.
So I want that low end torque more.
Yeah.
So I'm going to actually build this motor to a 2.3 or a 2.2 stroker
Yeah.
so that I have more torque. And then once that is there, I think I'll probably get it out on track, and I might not bring it too much higher in power because I feel like,
Why don't you just steal Freddie's V10
yeah,
from the Audi?
that'd be a lot better. Here we go. these tires are set up and the wheels that are on the car, they're not good track wheels or tires. They're definitely a little bit...
It's pushing too much in the front.
Yes, so it's going to be wanting to steer right wherever you're going.
Is that because you've stiffened it, do you think, as well as...
Some of it is because of that.
Yeah, I think for me, I would want more compliance, and I definitely want more front grip to be able to like pitch it in. Because I think this is the combination of the high revving power and the understeer. You can't like rotate the thing in enough for me.
Yeah.
Plus with the handbrake, so I love the power though. I'm not trying to shoot down. You've done an amazing job.
No, this is all stuff I've not really experienced in. So
I definitely want more front grip for that much power because it's really squatting on the rear.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just because the front is stiff. Have you put like anti-roll bars and things in it?
So it has anti-roll bars front and rear. You have upgraded bushings, all those things like that. But it doesn't have too much more where it's majorly changed. Okay. Not a lot has been changed to make it into more of a track car.
Okay. Well, I'd be interested to see what the tyres are. I almost wonder though if those bars are preventing too much roll, and actually you'd be better off having some lead to be able to load the tyre when you crank the steering in to send some weight over, because it's just not taking a set enough to let it.
Yeah.
You want to get a little bit of roll.
Yeah. So I've tried to do four-wheel slides with it, and it doesn't like it. It wants to immediately nosedive.
We need that.
Yeah. We need more. So what would you improve? How would you change that with, because this is adjustable suspension?
I think it's too stiff.
Okay.
I think, I'm curious with the bars. On a lap time, this probably will score a faster lap time.
Yeah.
Because you've got the roll bars and everything, if that's the be-all end-all. But just for having a little bit of fun, feeling a bit of life in the chassis.
Yeah.
I think you need more roll.
Okay.
So I think less stiffness.
Okay, so loosen that up.
Loosen that up.
Give me
a hydraulic
more fun.
handbrake in this sucker. But I love that. But the power is really fun. And I think, but if you can get more compliance into the chassis, and then I think you can forgive the peaky power.
Let's see if we can get a slide. I bet we can get a slide. Let me try. I think I can do it.
Okay.
Do you trust me?
Yeah. I'm going to let you take this on your own though. Where are we going?
We can go right here.
Yeah?
Yeah. Done so many different things in these cars, and so now I know what I need to improve.
You can't have an understeering Mitsubishi Pro 8.
But we don't need seatbelts. Let's do it again one more time.
Get out of here.
One for the road. One for the road. Ready?
Don't do it. We tried some stuff. It's cool. I love what he's done, and I couldn't do anything. The engineering he's put into that is fantastic. But actually, for track, perfect. But I think for just having fun, which is clearly what he wants to do, because these guys practically own this little lot here. I think we need some oversteer. Oversteer is fun. It's more fun than understeer. I don't care if it's slower. He's going to try that again. He's probably going to hit the curbstone.
He might be parking it.
Parking. Parking is good. Park it. Park it.
What an amazing end to a very busy couple of weeks, guys. I had no idea that I was going to be able to go for a ride with Ben Collins in my car, or let him drive my car and give me kind of his thoughts on the car. Definitely some things that I want to improve, and definitely some things that he talked about as a very experienced driver that I can improve on the car. But we got a ton of work done to the Noble last week. There was so many things that I ran into. As you can see here, we now have the steering rack set in place. There's a reason why I set that in place. And you're gonna see that in the next episode, because I have something really, really, really cool planned for this car. And not only that, we got the pillar done, we got the bodywork done, we got the door taken care of over here. Let's go take a look. Let me show you what this looks like. We have the door taken care of here. I had to move the door over 1/4 of an inch back just to make this thing shut. This was a very, very challenging thing to do because I wasn't sure exactly what I needed to do. I was very concerned that I was going to have to cut the skin of this thing off and move the whole thing to make this door sit in the exact place where it needs to be. But now that that's in place, everything is good there. Now we can get the body work done on that. We have a little bit more body work to go over here on the shell, and that thing is finished. This door over here closes and opens perfectly. Next step is getting these carbon fiber floors installed on the car. I have 2 panels here. Joey has the other panel finished. Now I need to get these things set up and in place. I'm really excited about that. I'll see you guys next week again with another video. I already have that video queued up. There's some stuff going on behind the scenes that you haven't seen yet. Remember to smash the subscribe button, hit the like button, and thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys again in the next one. Peace.